Good evening, Professor Halfaker. This is Kurt Marler here. I'm doing my recording on Jing. I'm going to put it on YouTube because I feel that I'm limited by every other media because of the time constraints. It seems 60 seconds is all they're going to give you before they want your money, which I understand everybody needs to make money. So, about change, as you can finally see by looking at me, I'm no spring chicken. I've implemented a lot of change in my life and in my professions. And where I work right now is a very extremely tough atmosphere to work in. These are all troubled youth. I'm at work right now doing homework after my shift. And it's extremely hard to implement any change because it has to go through a group of psychologists and educators and counselors such as myself. And the students here are so unruly that they oftentimes destroy things at will from little temper tantrums. I'm sore right now from having to spend a half an hour yesterday physically restraining a suicidal child who 5 minutes later was completely fine and normal. So implementing the change in this area, uh, my idea is to bolt the desks and chairs are one combination, to the floor because they're constantly moving them around. If you were to walk in any of these classrooms, you'd be totally amazed at the learning that isn't going on, simply because they're able to manipulate the physicality of the classroom. So, change is the act or instance of making or becoming different, and that evokes huge emotional responses from everybody, including myself. Whenever somebody comes up to me and says they want to see something change, my first thing to them is, have you done a written proposal? Have you done your research? Have you found your facts? Is your change going to be worthwhile to even determine if it's going to be accepted by anybody, including myself? I have found that in many instances, people want to see change as long as you are doing it, not them. Uh, I can whip out ideas all day long for other people to change things, and doesn't mean it's going to happen. Uh, I coined a phrase with many of my bosses who hire me to come in and fix their veterinary clinics that uh, change is easy. All I have to do is spend your money to do it. And that gets their attention pretty quickly because that makes them understand that I will be spending their money and I'll be conscribing them to be part of that change because without them changing, everything is useless in their business. Resistance to change, how does the board say it? Resistance is futile. Um, but resistance is always going to happen no matter how futile it is. Uh, it's like arguing with a stoplight. It's just going to happen and it's going to change. Change is inevitable. Our universe is in a constant state of entropy, which means it's constantly decaying and hopefully in billions of years rebuilding. And such is the life of any business or in the educational system. I think our entire educational system in the United States is in real dire need of changing. Um, and all of the progress that we're not having right now is due to the resistance of change, whether it is via somebody's attitude or monetary constraints or parental worry. So I I think that worrying about the resistance to change is futile. You're going to have people that are fighting you every step of the way. I think that change has to happen. This particular chapter in the book is pretty interesting, but in this particular instance, I think that the real bread and butter would come from studies and actual factuals, like last week's, where we had to study schools that went through change and became effective through change. Um, right now, this chapter is all about implementation of change and how to overcome resistance. And I think the very best way is educating ourselves who are trying to implement the change and above all else having a tough skin. When I was young and I first got in the military, my first boss, I recommended so many changes for his business. And he finally came up to me one day and he says, Kurt, you come to me all day long with these changes, and you know, 99 out of 100 are not feasible, but that 1 out of 100 is a real money maker for me, and it really makes my business better. So as long as you don't get tired of hearing no, don't quit bringing up your ideas, because I'm going to tell you no 99 times, but that one time is going to be such a great change that it's worth hearing all the other 99. And that was huge. That meant a lot to me. I was 25, 26 years old, newly found civilian. And that meant a lot to me, and I've held on to that for the last 20-something years. And I tell everybody that. Be willing to hear 99 no's and one yes, and that one yes may make you $1 million, or it may change one kid. I really appreciate your time, Professor, and I hope you have a wonderful day, or evening, or night, and I look forward to more.